Dealing with stubborn children is a challenge for parents because they do it even with basic tasks like showering, eating, or going to bed are a daily battle. Parents inadvertently encourage fanatic behavior in children by surrendering to tantrums. The best way to deal with a stubborn child is to show that his behavior is not working. Pay attention to their good behavior to achieve the desired result. Mom Junction included some tips that might help dealing with a stubborn child. Characteristics of a stubborn child. Not every child practices stubborn free will. It is important to understand if your child is stubborn or determined before taking strong action. Children of strong will can be very intelligent and creative. They ask a lot of questions, which may come as a rebellion. They have an AA endures. On the other hand, stubborn children stick to their opinion and will not be willing to listen to what it says. Here are some other characteristics that stubborn children may display. They have a strong need to confess and listen, so they may get your attention a lot. They can be fiercely independent. They are committed and determined to do whatever they like. All children throw out tantrums, but stubborn children may do so often. They have strong leadership qualities. They can sometimes be bossy. Running a stubborn child can be tough, but not all bad. Stubborn child psychology. Understanding stubborn children. Meaning of the dictionary of definition is hardness of purpose. Stubbornness is defined as an unshakable design for doing something or behaving in a certain way. Simply put, it refuses to change ideas, behaviors, or actions regardless of the external pressure to do otherwise. Stubbornness in children can be genetic or acquired behavior due to environmental influences. 1. Dealing with stubborn children may require more patience and effort, as you will need to carefully monitor and understand your child's behavior pattern. After that, we will give you some advice that may help in dealing with stubborn children. Tips that may help in dealing with stubborn children. You may have a stubborn child who refuses to stay in bed or brushes him aside from a cereal spoon every time you try to feed them. Or you may have a 6-year-old insist. Try listening. Two-way communication. If you want your child to listen to you, you should be willing to listen to them first. Children may have stubborn as well as strong intent to argue. They may unite if they feel they cannot hear. Most of the time, when your child insists on doing or not doing something, listening to him for an open conversation about what bothers him can do the trick. For example, if your child is throwing a tantrum to end lunch, do not force your child to feed him. Instead, ask them why they don't eat and listen. It may be because they are cheerful or have abdominal pain. If you want your 5-year-old to listen, try to come quietly and practically rather than face-to-face contact with them. Do not force them. When children are forced to do something, they tend to rebel and do whatever they shouldn't do. The term that best defines this behavior is counter will, which is a common feature of stubborn children. The counter is instinctive and not limited to children alone. Connect with your children. For example, forcing your 6-year-old, who insists on watching TV after bedtime, will not help. Instead, sit with them and show an interest in what they see. When you show your interest, children will likely respond. Children who communicate with their parents or care activities want to collaborate. Establishing unwavering contact with challenged children makes dealing with them easier, says Susan Steffelman in her book, Parenting Without Power Conflicts. Take the first step to communicate with your child today. Hug him. 2. 3. Give them options. Stubborn children may have their own mind and don't always like being told what to do. Tell your stubborn 4-year-old that he should be in bed by 9 p.m., and all you will get from them is no. Aloud. Have your 5-year-old buy a game of your choice, and he won't. Give your children choices, not directions. Instead of telling them to go to bed, ask them if they want to read the bedtime story A or B. Your child can challenge him and say, "I will not sleep." When that happens, keep calm and tell them realistically, "Okay, this wasn't an option.
You can repeat the same thing as many times as needed and as quietly as it is. When it looks like a broken record, your child will likely give up. However, many options are not good either. For example, asking your child to choose clothes from the wardrobe might be confusing. You can avoid this problem by reducing the options to 2 or 3 groups that you choose and ask your child to choose from. 4. Stay calm. Screaming at a defiant child and screaming will transform a normal conversation between a parent and child into a screaming match. Your child may take your response as a call for verbal fighting. This will make matters worse. It's up to you. What it takes to stay calm: meditation, playing sports, or listening to music. Set soothing or relaxing music at home so that your kids' children can listen. Play your child's favorite music from time to time. This way, you can get a vote and also enable them to relax. 5. Respect them. Your child might not accept the authority if you imposed it on him. Here are some ways that you can express respect in your relationship. Ask for cooperation. Do not insist on adhering to the directions. Set consistent rules for all of your children, and don't be lenient just because you find it right. Sympathy for them. Never refuse their feelings or thoughts. Let your children do what they can for themselves, and avoid the temptation to do something for them, to reduce their burden. This also tells them that you trust them. Say what you mean and do what you say. An example to follow is the slogan "You must follow here because you are your children watching you all the time," by Betsy Brown, author of You Are Not the Boss of Me. 6. Work with them. Stubborn or strong-willed children are very sensitive to how they are treated. So be careful with the tone, body language, and vocabulary you use. When they become uncomfortable with your behavior, they do what they know best to protect them. They rebel, they talk, and they show aggression. Changing the way that a stubborn child is limited can change the way he treats you. Instead of telling them what to do, share with them. Use phrases like, "Let's do this," "How about we try that," instead of, "I want you to do." Use fun activities designed for your kids doing something. For example, if you want your stubborn child to put his toys away, start doing it yourself and ask him to be your special assistant. You can also set an activity time and challenge the kid to get games out faster than you can. This is a prank scam that works mostly. 7. Negotiate. Sometimes it is necessary to negotiate with your children. It is common for them to act when they do not get what they want. If you want them to listen to you, you need to know what prevents them from doing so. Is there anything that matters? Or, do you want anything? Let them talk about it. This tells them that you respect their desires and that you are ready to consider them.